The project of making broadcast radio addressable and measurable, that project is definitely moving along. This week, being here at CES, we are excited to announce our beta program of Audiograph, which is our platform to make broadcast radio addressable, measurable, and programmatically transactable. So that launched, very excited to be in the position to bring that to market, talk to advertisers about it. We are at the stage of, we have our POC with 5 advertisers across 3 different verticals, one being retail, the second vertical being wireless, and the third QSR. So POC proved out and showed that addressable radio performed better than demo-based buying. And so that being the first proof of concept, and then also that we're able to map back ID-based to measurement. We proved that we drove more foot traffic into a retail location than demo-based buying. So we are on our way and excited for second phase of beta with a full launch in second half of 2026.
Lisa, sounds like you've been bridging a lot of roads within audio. So was hoping you could just give me a sense of the state of audio/podcasting right now. Where are advertisers leaning in most right now, and what's driving that?
Yeah. So state of audio is growth. That is the number one key theme, which is exciting. We have more radio listeners today than we did 20 years ago. 73% of consumers in the US listen to podcasts. So that will continue to grow. And one of the reasons that it'll continue to grow is trust. Right now we're sitting here at CES, and one of the biggest conversations is around AI, right? And while 70% of consumers use AI, 90% want their media from a human. And so the overall trust factor of the content that we produce, our radio host personalities, our podcast personalities, it's really what brands are leaning into and what they are wanting to associate their brand with for that trust factor. And with that trust of those personalities, brands are really leaning into cross-platform. Where can they be associated with an individual on the radio, on a podcast, and at live events? And so that really is where brands are, what's resonating with brands right now.
Branding and performance have long been thought of as opposing forces, but more recently the idea of those two worlds converging for brands has really taken hold. So with that in mind, audio, which is traditionally been seen as a pure brand play, is now adopting performance. How are you pursuing that?
Yeah. So one of the coolest things or greatest things about audio is that it helps other media perform better. So when you add audio or start your campaign with audio, it helps your social efforts perform 83% better, and your search efforts perform 47% better. So it's a great complement to your full funnel efforts.
Podcasting has achieved a level of ubiquity over the last several years. What's actually breaking through with advertisers today, given the sense that podcasting is seemingly everywhere?
Yeah. Podcasting can be very much about audience-based buying, so that's a great benefit for a brand. But one of the things I alluded to before is the trust factor and how brands are really buying into radio personalities, podcast personalities, and in a cross-platform nature. And at iHeart, we have some of the greatest personalities. We have Charlamagne tha God, we have Edelman, we have Gronk, Jay Shetty, all individuals who are on the radio, on podcasts, and at live events. And so that really creates a 360 surround experience for the consumer. I had a great benefit of meeting Jay Shetty a few weeks ago at one of our live events, and he said it best. He said, audio, the ear is the way to a heart, an individual's heart, and that is tremendously beneficial for a brand. And he went a step further even to say that when he meets listeners, they always come up to him and they want to hug him, and they say, I really feel like I know you. And he said, of course you do. I'm in your ear every single day. And that was so impactful when I heard that. When a brand is associated with voice and an individual who consumers listen to on a daily basis, it has tremendous impact and helps a brand's performance.
So with that in mind, what's the biggest misconception maybe that marketers still have when it comes to buying audio at scale?
Probably the fact that audio can't be addressable, measurable, and transactable digitally, and so all of those things are now true. And one of the most important projects being Audiograph that I'm working on, and why I really feel passionate about that is because today, 30% of audio is available programmatically. And so when you think about that, that's podcast and streaming. You're talking about the other 70% of audio that is not accessible to programmatic buyers, to people that have hands on keyboards and really want to transact and work in the moment. And by bringing Audiograph to life, making broadcast radio addressable and measurable, we're going to increase audio inventory by 400%. And bringing the live elements of radio to those keyboards, like I said, right now we have we're the official audio partner of the Olympics with NBC. We have the World Cup coming up. We have different award shows coming up, the Oscars, all of those real-time live experiences that brands want to be associated with. And by bringing that into the programmatic ecosystem, we'll make it accessible to many different brands and not just big sponsor brands.
As you expand that radio audio inventory across channels, the expectations for measurement, the demands for measurement arise as well among marketers. So with that, how is iHeart proving impact across platforms and not just reach, which has been the standard for radio? Yeah,
I mean, measurement is all part of our plan. We work with many different third-party partners to deliver that measurement that brands want and expect. When you talk about cross-platform, one of the coolest things that we're doing is, to me, is kind of proof of concept of the power of radio and audio is TikTok approached us to create a partnership. You're talking about one of the largest social platforms out there with thousands of influencers. They want to work in radio. Why? Because live elements of that are what create culture and those influential moments. And so our partnership with TikTok, we're actually going to be creating a podcast slate, which will have influencers creating those podcasts. We will have TikTok radio, which is a cool opportunity. And then we'll also be partnering our TikTok influencers with our radio personalities to really develop those cultural moments and create new and unique experiences. They'll also be at our live events, creating all those influential moments for brands. But when you think about the cross-platform nature of iHeart and TikTok and the performance that will be driving there, it's just a phenomenal partnership going into 2026.
Lisa, you've given advertisers a lot of virtues to associate with audio. If there's just one more reason that marketers should rethink audio in 2026 as part of their media mix, what would it be?
You can now leverage the scale of audio precisely and with accountability, and that's a game changer.
CES is all about announcements. What have you got to say at CES this year?
Yeah, our messaging is all around guaranteed human promise that we deliver to our consumers and brands alike. You'll hear it as our tagging on the radio, you'll hear it in our podcasting. Why? As we sit here in the conversations of AI, we want the world to know that we are truly guaranteed human. You're not going to find artificial content, artificial music, any of that. It's all about making sure we connect with the consumer in a very trustworthy and authentic way. So guaranteed human, here we are.